How did Mom and Dad get along? What was the home life like? Did they get along well?
I think they got along very well. I haven't heard no,
Oh, no, I just wanted
yeah, I haven't heard no
They
arguments or,
I don't remember any Zwistigkeiten
Oh,
or
I do.
anything like that. What do
You're
you call
talking
it?
about the first one?
I'm talking about the first poem.
oh, the first one.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm talking about the first poem.
You mean our first one?
Yeah, your mother.
That's what we're asking.
Yeah, that's what we're asking.
I know she,
Dad talked only about one occasion one time. She had raised a few calves and without asking questions when they were ready, Dad needed money and he sold them. And then Mom was very upset about it.
I can see that.
And she didn't talk to him about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days or something. Maybe 1 day or 2 days, I don't know, for a while. But then that was corrected again and was fixed up and otherwise I never remember any kind of, they were both godly parents.
How would you describe them though? Were they, like, what sort of
Mother
character type would you...
Was a good guitar player, and she took us in the couch together and played and sang with us the gospel songs. And she was a good storyteller, and she told us a lot of stories, and Bible stories and other stories. And that's what I remember from Mother. And from Dad, I especially remember how he was concerned about Sunday schools, that we would have a Sunday morning service every Sunday, whether going out with horse and wagon or
To the church.
at home.
Did you have Sunday school in the church too? At the church?
no, but going to the church, I don't remember Sunday school in church. We had the Sunday school at home always, didn't we?
In church in Lugotsky,
Yeah, yeah,
Dad had a class there that he was teaching there.
that did.
Yes.
Uncle Nick and Uncle Corny, what did you guys do for fun when you were kids in the Soviet Union? Did you play? You must have, you were children. Do you recall what play was like there? What did you play with? What did you do?
We had no end of games. We were playing as soon as our work was done. We never asked Dad what to do. No such a thing. We right away knew what we were going to play.
No boredom.
We had no boredom whatsoever. We were riding the horses and the steers and the bulls and we had games as clock, you know.
What is
I
that?
can't explain it. And we would go swimming and
Hard to explain.
there's no end to
Yes.
that.
Cricket.
Tin can.
Yeah.
And Dad said, you can use my workshop, the Hogelbank. When it was stormy outside in winter, then we were in there and we built all kinds of things.
How far was school for you fellows? How far
About a
away?
mile and a half.
Mile and a half?
Yeah.
Did you walk?
Walk?
And the hired man would take us there.
Wow.
Asha.
If it was blizzard, you know, bad weather.
And both the boys and the girls went to school?
Pardon?
Both boys and girls went to school?
Yes.
From about how old would you be when you started? 8, 6, 7?
When we started?
Yeah, when you start
6.
school. 6?
School started at
No,
7
but
years.
we started, like, when you were 6 years old, you started school.
I started at 7 and I was in
I
college
started-
earlier.
We
than
started at
that.
7.
Pardon me?
Oh, you're just smart.
Advanced.
We
Yeah.
started second.
Whatever.
Was the school taught by the Mennonite people in the community, or was this a government school?
No, the school was
Private.
taught by Mennonites.
It was a private
Oh,
school.
it's all private.
All
Everybody paid for that.
Oh.
We had to pay for it.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I read, and
Yeah.
Mom gave me a book.
but
Yeah.
we had to teach Russian too.
You had to learn Russian too.
It was maybe half and half.
We hired regular teachers, qualified teachers.
Yes.
And did you also teach Bible in school or just?
Oh, yes. People your shake was first thing in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Maybe 3/4 of an hour.
You remember we had school in our own house?
Homeschooling?
Yeah, we had schooling in our own house. We also had schooling in where we moved. We moved to my uncle's,
Yes,
and we had schooling right in
yeah,
there.
where Grandpa Thiessen used to.
Yeah, yeah, where Grandpa Thiessen used to.
Yeah, he had passed away before
Yeah.
us, our time.
Just
Yeah.
your family or neighbors' kids with you?
Oh, they were all neighbors, all together.
Yeah, okay.
We're all
Just
together.
using your house as a school?
In our house too, or in the neighbors. We had to move in there, that was right after they had ransacked our own place because we had no police, there was no protection. We had to see that we got protection, so we moved into a bigger
The village.
estate.
Yeah. Oh, a bigger state.
Yeah, bigger estate, and that was my uncle's.
Yes.
Grandpa Thiessen built that one, and that's where we lived that winter.
If there was no protection, what does it help you if you've been more?
Yeah, but if there was more people, then that helped us. We were so few, that's why they could come in and just take it.
Now, was this after you were robbed that time when you were all
Yes,
put down
that
the
was
basement?
after we were robbed.
Well, Mom said that right after that, Dad said, that's it, we're getting out of here. Is that true? Did Dad
Well, it was
apply
after that, I don't know.
Did Dad apply for a visa
It was
shortly
a year
after?
after.
A year after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that had to be done sort of secretive, I understand, yeah?
Well,
You wouldn't
yeah.
go tell everybody that I'm
Well,
moving.
Dick, this is the question. You see, how could we have, where would you get our money? We had to have an auction sale.
Yeah.
When you have an auction sale, the whole world finds out practically. The
Sure.
whole area, anyway.
Yeah, sure.
We had to find out. And then we got the money together. Everything was sold. And, except the land was sold, but it was on time. Well, we never got the money. But we did have enough to pay for the ticket, and we had $50 on us. We did have $50, I remember that good well.
As far as I know, the government had confiscated the land.
Yeah.
We could
You
not
couldn't-
sell them.
No, you couldn't sell them.
But he could sell our buildings
Yeah,
and the cattle and the machinery, so.
that's true.
In an auction sale.
We did sell the machine shop, you see.
Wasn't it in the, didn't there, I hear that there was a big building in Dorf that you sold, and that's where a lot of the money came from? You actually.
Yeah, we had that big machine shop. I call it machine shop. We used to call it China.
Showing it, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
A hay
We
mound,
sold that.
a big hay mound.
They came and broke it down and hauled it away.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name, Dick from the Leeds.
The Leeds,
He bought it.
Yeah.
And he
Storekeeper.
moved it away piece by piece. I
And he
don't know
stayed
how
there.
they did it.
He stayed there. He wanted to continue on?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was a prosperous storekeeper.
Oh, I see.
You see, we were always, it was always in danger that they would come and rob us and burn. Well, we were already in Canada, and they burnt the place down.
Really?
Yeah,
After we gone.
after we were gone. Can we see the Lord's hand? Yes, we can.
Yeah.
But that was years later,
Yes, but it happened.
42,
What?
yeah,
42?
yeah.
Somebody would have been living in there when you said you were gone, and somebody must have taken over the place.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. That was communism, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you have to sell everything and then
Yes, we sold.
wait for immigration allowance?
No, we got the permit first.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I
Dad
remember.
went to Samara,
Yeah.
to the city, and he got the papers, the immigration papers there.
Yes.
And when he came home, he was happy. He said, I have the papers, now we can go. But there were many in the villages of our Mennonites, they were of great hopes that better times were coming. And they tried to dissuade Dad not to go. I remember some of them came to our cooter and said, oh, what Thiessen was this? You know, you've got everything here, now you're going to sell it for a piece of bread and butter, and in Canada you'll start from the bottom. And Dad said nothing.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Dad said nothing, he said, I just wanted to get going.
Hmm.
That's all.
Because they taxed him so heavily. You see, they took all the money. Well, Dad just barely made paying the taxes.
Yes, they would come down like
And then he knew.
like a couple of policemen and have their demands. And said, Dad, if I can't meet this, they'll throw us to Siberia. That's all they.
And we know how many they have sent.
And
They
and
couldn't
we know
pay,
they did
he
that.
said.
And if he was well-to-do, that's how we had.
Yes.
And this was all part of communism.
Absolutely. All right,
Before that, you had no
Yeah.
problem.
No problem.
Everything was,
Yeah.
Dad said if that former government had stayed, we'd have never moved out of Russia. We were in good shape.
Wasn't it the former government that you're really talking about now that begged the Ukrainians and Mennonites, who were the farming people, begged them to come in? Is that right?
Yes.
Catherine the Great.
That was
I
before.
heard that.
Absolutely.
And then they said, they promised them freedom,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah, those Mennonite people were example farmers in the Ukraine.
yeah, that's why they wanted them over in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you explain the process of moving, or the trip at least? Can you explain the process of immigration? How long it took from the point where you said, let's go, let's get a visa, to traveling through Soviet Union to Riga? How long did you have to stay there? What did you do while you were there? How did you eat? And then the trip to Canada?
Oh, Corey, there was one incident very interested to hear again. I've heard it before, but how our family had to get to the railroad station. And Uncle Dietrich,
Nikolai.
Uncle Nikolai, he took us on his wagon to the railroad station.
Yeah, in Russia.
Yeah, and he had to cross the river,
Yes.
and the bridge was very bad. And he fell through with one wheel. Yeah, this is how I remember the story from what
That's what
Dad
it
and
was.
Uncle Nikolai told me.
Yeah.
Somehow they had a jacket back up again, and they got the horses and the kids and the whole family, and everything was almost falling into the river, but they had it all back on the wagon
Mother
again.
saved Frank from falling down.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
It would have been maybe a couple hundred feet into the river. Oh, that was a high river, according to you.
yeah.
Yes, it was just with round poles. Carl.
See, they were lengthwise instead of
And
crosswise.
the horses, they had to watch out how to stay on top, that they wouldn't slip through there. And when the wagon
Yeah.
got stuck, then
This was a bridge?
Frank,
The
top
bridge.
was right over the...
Over the river.
This was a bridge over a river
Over a
gorge.
river.
Okay.
High.
CPR.
Yeah.
Over the Samarka River.
Communist bridge, yeah.
Sorochinsky. In Zamar, yeah.
Yeah, the Samarka River.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you start? What was the first step in leaving?
In leaving,
Right, and then how did it go?
you first got the permission.
First you have to get the visa.
I know when I asked Mother,
First Dad, as far as I know, first Dad made sure he would be able to get the immigration papers, He went to Samara.
yeah, that's right.
And whether he got together with B.B. Jans there or not, I'm not sure. But he was in
we'll
close
leave that
touch
out.
anyway.
Yeah,
And he got his papers. And when he came back, then he started selling. We had him privately, he sold the große Scheune on to that Mr. Dick in the Leeds, and then he had an auction sale. And then we had as much money as we could make, and then we left.
And how long was that span from when he came back with the immigration papers and you decided to sell? Was that a few weeks, a month, or how long was that?
I would say just roughly 2 months.
2 months.
That's my guess. All in all, till the sale was over,
Yeah.
until we got ready.
What time of the year?
Well, we started in August. We landed in Cologne on the 30th of September.
Yeah,
Oh,
we-
my.
yeah.
Yeah, so it must have been August. Took us about a year.
Mother was sick 1 week in Moscow.
In Moscow, yeah. Elizabeth had that,
It was around, I would say about the 20th of August that we left.
yeah.
And how did you travel?
By Sorochinsk,
Well,
we
Uncle
traveled by
Dick took us to the
Droshky.
railway.
And then,
What is
by
that?
train,
By train?
then by train. And
About
from
50
Samara,
miles away
from
from
Moscow.
our settlement was the railway. And there we took the train. From there we took the train to Samara. Samara was the main city of the whole area. Here we would say it the province. And there, from Samara we took another train to Moscow. On that train they robbed us. Partially, but we had enough left to keep going.
Who robbed you?
At night, thieves. I don't know how. We tried to watch it, but we were tired and it just needed a few minutes to fall asleep and there they were. And then we left after we had stayed in Moscow 9 or 10 days, maybe 7 or 8 days, I won't say for sure, something like that. Then we left Moscow on a train to Riga. That was a happy ride. At least we were moving. And then we came to Saberge. That was a critical point. We would be examined and we would be searched. And that's what they did. But we all came through well. Our eyes were good. And then we boarded the last train, and then we came to the big red gate.
Can you explain the significance of that gate? I've heard about that gate and I've seen pictures of it. Can you explain the significance of that gate?
I don't know what's the matter here.
Do you need a drink of
I
water?
guess I'm too excited.
Well, basically it was the border crossing between Russia
Yeah.
and Latvia. Riga is the capital of Latvia, is it? Oh, okay. So this was the border crossing. And at this border crossing, they had a big red sign. You've seen that in many magazines and pictures. And once you got over that, you know,
You were safe.
you were fine.
Home free.
I remember coming to that. And I think most of them got out, didn't they? Because the guard was there and they examined everything, and of course everybody was right on edge. Because this was it. If you get through, you're gone, but if not, you go back. Yeah, in some instances, they stopped the train right at the border. Oh, yeah. Ours had definitely stopped. And then they were turned back from there. Yeah. But we could go ahead. Yeah, you can go.
Well, in that film that we saw, and what was that film called? They went in this train and they took young men right out of ripped them away from the families.
Yeah.
So was there cheering on the train when it went on?
Pardon me?
Was there cheering on the
Oh, I
train?
guess there should have been singing. Should have been
Signs of
singing.
relief,
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful when that train started up again. And we were all in. And the red gate was passing over.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
I remember the wonderful relieved feeling. Dad and Mother stood at the window and they saw that red gate going by. Of course, they knew much more about that than we did.
Yeah. You were 13 approximately at that time. You would have been about 13 years old.
No, I was 12.
12, whatever.
Now, all this trip, did you have to supply all your own food?
Yes.
No place you could buy, and you had to carry it with you?
No, we just...
Oh, maybe a
We had bags
Wolfie.
full of...
In
I had
Moscow, I
bags
think
full
they
of
got-
Yerushka Chiba.
That's what I was coming to.
Yeah, okay, your motels, that all cost a lot of money to stay in.
Right,
Where did
right.
you stay? Where did you stay?
Well, if you're in Moscow, we stayed in a hotel. It was kind of a hotel.
Yeah, but that takes all the money.
Oh, we had to pay.
Oh, sure. And I still remember those people selling these хорошие дубительские красные яблоки on the streets.
Yeah.
And
What
then
is
they
that?
would eat that. Хорошие дубительские красные яблоки.
What is that?
Good, delicious red apples.
Wow.
Apples, delicious. So,
Yogurt here, that's.
those are to be just.
You thought it was $3, didn't you?
Yeah.
So what?
But I did want to tell you about this one occasion. You know, Lennon was lying in state at that time. And Dad and I, this particular time, when
Lennon what?
Lennon was lying in state
Yeah,
in Moscow.
yeah.
And Dad and I came to this building. We saw these two guards standing in front of the door. And I said to Dad, let's go in. No, he just walked right by. He wasn't going to be identified with anybody lying in state, which was smart, because they didn't know.
No.
You don't know what they would have done with that.
No.
Still exactly the same today. Two guards standing
Yeah,
at
Yeah.
they buried Lennon now, didn't they?
Took it away now, took these guys away.
and they took him away now.
Couple
That
months
must have
ago.
just been with the last
Which,
church.
which one are you referring to?
Well, Lennon's too. They took the
Well,
guys.
they
away.
took the axe. No, not worth anything anymore.
Yeah.
So what was the boat ride like? Like for you guys to even see a boat that big, I guess at the time would have been
Yes.
something.
My impression would be that when we got there and finally the boat was moving, well, it was just something that we had been waiting for some time. And I knew the Russian and the German language, and I did not know English. And then here came the invitation to have supper with them. And the tables were decked in white linen and
On the
male
boat.
waiters
On the boat.
on the boat, male waiters, and what will you have, and so on. But I didn't understand a word, nor did I know how to express my wishes. So I just pointed to them what the others had.
Well,
I would have what the others had for supper.
well, who owned these ships?
Oh, it was the Empress of Scotland. Must have been by Scotland, I don't know.
And these were just regular ships
Regular
that you
big
could
boats,
get
yes.
that you could purchase a
Express.
fare on.
Yeah,
This was leaving England.
Ocean liners.
yeah. English maybe, I don't know. It was in Southampton is where we got on.
Oh, with the boat from Riga to Southampton.
Oh, no, that was on the Baltic, yeah, that's a different
Yeah,
one.
there we got a bit very hungry.
Yeah, that was a different
There was
one.
nothing to be had there, eh?
We got nothing to eat there.
What was that like? What was that like?
What?
That ship? What was that like? That trip to from Riga to England?
I
That was
don't
like
know what ship
Aeroflot.
that was, I don't remember.
Flop.
Yeah. Mother just said it was a small boat. She didn't say anything else about it.
Well, they
Well,
said,
comparing to the ocean liner, it was a small boat.
Yes,
I would say it was about 5,000 tons.
and the ocean liner, 25,000.
Mother said
The
you,
ocean liner was 25,000.
you almost ran out of the nice Zweiback on that trip.
Yeah, it came close.
Like Mom said, Frank always wanted the nice Zweiback.
I still like it.
Still do.
That's most of them. But
Pretty hard to come by now, though.
Yeah, you're right.
on the Empress of Scotland, I remember Anne telling me that, that was our older sister, who isn't here now. She said that you were able to eat anything you wanted and as much as you wanted, right?
On that boat, yeah.
Yeah. And she ate so many oranges because apparently you didn't have oranges.
Oh, yeah, oranges.
I remember one, they gave us one orange or apple.
Well,
I don't know.
She said she had so many oranges because she was so excited that she could have as many as she wanted. She hadn't been able to eat oranges since. She had overdone it.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
How old would she have been when that trip?
Well, she would have been,
But
Anne would have been, if you were 12,
she's
Well,
three.
She was 4.
5 or 6.
So she must be 6 or 7.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
6 or 7. So she
2
was
years.
little.
I was 9, so she must have been 6.
So how long was the cruise across the Atlantic?
You tell me that. How long was the boat ride?
5 days.
No, yeah, Baltic, but not the,
Yeah.
No,
They
got
the
no-
Baltic was, I would say, a day and a half. A night and a day.
yeah, but the,
The ocean liner mom said 5 days.
at least 7.
Oh, yeah, from Southampton to Quebec.
Yeah, I thought it was 7, but I'm not sure.
That was
Across the
about it.
ocean from
Yeah.
Southampton to Quebec was 5 days.
Oh, was it?
Not very long.
No, that was a good ship.
That was pretty fast.
Okay,
compared to some.
where did you land then when you come over here?
Quebec.
we landed in Quebec.
Then you took a taxi?
No, then
No, then we took
they
a train
took
to
the train.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight from the docks? Like, straight from the docks, you went on?
Yeah,
the
we went
train?
into the hotel, into
Yeah.
the,
Did they speak French?
yeah, and then we took the,
They gave them a German and English.
I know.
Gospel.
Did they speak French there?
Signs.
Yeah. Of course, I guess French or English you wouldn't have understood either anyway.
No.
Was Bibi Jans there to meet you, or was the Mennonite flying there to meet you?
there was nobody there.
Well, Mother said you had gotten a warm welcome.
We got a warm welcome. They invited us into their restaurant, or kind of a restaurant.
Okay.
I remember eating, the first time I had marmalade
Mm.
and tea
Uh-huh.
and white bread.
Oh, wow.
And that was our warm welcome. I don't know what else. Maybe Corny knows.
I remember how Dad was so uplifted when they gave us a New Testament, Gospel of Luke in German and English.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, aber Kinder, wir sind in einem christlichen Lande angekommen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he was so uplifted about that and so joyous. And then we took the train to Montreal, and there we had the first church service, that first Sunday morning. And we didn't know English, but we went up a big hill, and it was, I think it was an Anglican church, if I'm right. And what was the first song? Holy, 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 God Almighty.
Mhm.
And that just went durch Markenband.
Yeah.
We were just, even if we didn't understand anything, but that just hit us, a message in the new country.
How far we've slipped today,
That's true.
you know, in this
Absolutely.
country.
Yes.
Can't even read the Lord's Prayer in school anymore.
And then did you have a destination you were going, you expected to go where?
Oh yeah, we expected to go to Kalansi where our...
Saskatchewan.
Yeah, where the grandparents were.
Okay.
They were there with 10 families
Mm.
on a farm.
But Kearney is changing. Starting this fall in Coldell, we're starting to teach the Bible in the school.
Are you-
In schools.
Separate school or?
No, no.
Public schools?
Yeah, yeah. We got permission in the new school and the old Baker school.
What did you say, John?
We need 21 teachers, we got 15 now, they all came volunteers, you know.
Teach the Bible.
Yeah, Lil and I are teaching too.
Wonderful.
In
So that's
Colville?
good.
Yeah.
Colville too.
Why don't, go do it. Yeah. And not after or before, teaching during class.
Oh, that's,
The class
that's a
period.
change.
Said it's in the writing, nobody does it. It's always been there, and you guys just quit. You guys said, oh, we're so terrible in this country, you know, it just doesn't work anymore.
Well, that must depend on the principal, of the school.
No, it's
Well,
had nothing to do with it. We went right to the top. and we said,
So that anyone else could teach too?
See? Possibly, yeah.
You know, isms could,
Catholics maybe teach too.
Well, yeah, they could, but
Yeah.
no, but
You got
false
to know
doctrines
school.
could be taught too.
look at Pete Regier. He's still feeding calf for us. He's done it now for 30 or some years. He's still, him and his wife go every Monday afternoon to Sunnyside and teaching school.
Really?
Just keep it up. I led a guy to the Lord just the other day, a little while ago, that he taught him. He's 42 years old now. Finally, he was so down, he says, John, what should I do? He says, I don't know which way to go. I said, well, we should probably come to the Lord. He did. Come to the Lord. And his whole life changed around, you know. But there's the fruit, you know. But it's there, you know, school is open, we just gotta do it. That's a real encouragement, you know. I think it's part of the last day revival.